Hey everyone, and welcome back to the playthrough. Just so you guys know, I'm starting a whole brand new session, and I've had some time to think about some things. Specifically when it comes to our team arrangement. Because I don't know. Oh wait.
That was a brilliant win.
Nothing you do here matters actually, so I just like to say everyone did well.
Playing ignorant as to the quality of your command and deflecting the praise to your students. You really are a model professor, Teach. To be honest, I had a bunch of other schemes planned as well, just in case the situation called for it. But I didn't have to resort to any of them. I suppose our opponents lucked out.
You know, I've never actually seen what happens when you lose.
The breadth of your skill was on full display
I should
today.
look that up.
I must admit that your tactics were masterful.
Oh, it's probably just a fail state, let's be honest.
Had it been Claude leading us into battle.
I noticed that too. We just did what you told us, and we won. I love it.
So, oh yeah, okay, so I'm going to talk about the team composition and a couple changes I've decided to go with. And this is mostly because I do a backup playthrough whenever I make a video. Well, not with the Naruto one, because that one's pretty straightforward. That's just, we're going through the missions as we go through it. But with something like this, since I haven't played the game in like a month or two, since like, you know, the last video came out, well, that's not entirely true. I have like a half playthrough going on when I was making those videos. But since I haven't played it in a while and I'm just brushing up to make sure I know everything, I have like a second playthrough that's just kind of like a chapter ahead of this one. And I was doing some testing with it, and I've noticed if you're playing along or if you're new to the difficulty, I think it's a lot easier with the less students you actually have on hand. So, sorry if I'm talking over the game volume right now. I know that can be a little bit discombobulating.
I can see Gerald trained you well. I do hope you were able to use
But
the occasion to bond
it's
with
a lot
your
easier to manage team experience and to, yeah, to say I did. I don't think it matters either way.
I'm so happy to hear it. Nothing would please
But
me more than if
it's a
you
lot
could
easier to manage a
succeed
team
rogue
when you have
success.
less units to give experience to. And the way that recruiting works in this game is that the other classes level with you. So they often level with you, and they often have better rolls on their levels. So, you know, if you pick up someone really late in, their skills might not be what you want, but their stats are going to be really good. So if you ever have a character who's going to end up being what you want them to be in the long run, so let's say I wanted Bernadetta to be just a sniper, well then picking her up as late as possible isn't a bad option, because she is going to have really good bow skills. She's going to have a lot of experience in bow because that's what her my mission. None of these matter. But so, like, you know, when you first start mentoring, we'll see it in just a little bit here. When you first start mentoring, people have their already like preferred skills they want to level, and Bernadetta as I believe lance and bow.
Shall work to complete the task at hand.
So you can
report back to the Archbishop before the deadline. Understood.
Oof, sorry.
We'll soon provide you with the necessary details for your first mission. If I told you now, I expect
so you can essentially roll her as a sniper completely, just off of that, and since she'll have better stat increases, it's not a bad idea to pick her up late. So because they'll be leveling up away from you, that's good, because there's a lot of limited. I've noticed there's some pretty limited experience in this game, and it's kind of hard to distribute all the experience to 11 different units. And if you do the group up method where you have someone else with you, you are decreasing your experience gain to each individual. You're only getting half the amount of experience. Right.
What is this nonsense? All I was told was to kill as many.
So, when it comes to what we're actually doing with our team comp, I've decided to drop 2 students from the Golden Deer from the entire comp because, you know, 100%, I bet you can already guess who it's going to be. But it's mostly because, let's talk about, like, weak starts. Students with weak starts can be really hard to train up. And other students that are, like, they have an okay start, but need a little bit more help, get really screwed over by those students with weak starts. So, specifically speaking, Lorenz and Ignatz have extraordinarily, well, yeah, Lorenz is dealing, like, pretty subpar damage, no matter if it's physical or magic. And Ignatz, you kind of just have to have him cower behind a bow for like the first couple chapters until he gets a bit stronger, because just throwing him in the front line at all will have him get like completely ran down. Lysithea is another one who struggles a little bit in the early game because her speed and magic stats haven't like gone insane yet. So you kind of have to pick and choose. And I've found, at least, if I was a newer player, I think I would go, I know you're probably going to want all of your units to be at least okay, but I would probably just drop Lorenz and Ignatz, and that's what we're going to be doing for this playthrough. Because I was trying to do it, I was trying to split the experience between the whole cast, and, you know, it wasn't really working that great. Everyone just was feeling a little bit subpar, and this was with some pretty decent level rolls. So we're just gonna go with the I believe it's like 6 students now. Yeah, we'll have 6 students in Byleth, which is already 7 units to distribute experience across in the first like set of levels. So we're gonna do that. I don't know if you guys do this. I know everyone has like their own little friggin' mini game that they do with this little guy here at the bottom, but I like to jump over all of the diamonds, all the big ones. There are new places to explore in the monastery. $2,000 from the Church of Saros. Oh, there are some proper decisions here, I think.
As you have already been notified,
wait, no, there's not.
Your mission is to subdue some bandits. Our students have been learning about combat through study, but this is a precious opportunity to provide them with practical experience. The Knights will support your mission and are prepared to offer their assistance if necessary. In short, this is no mock battle. You must be prepared for anything. You will receive a message.
This means we're gonna kill people, man.
Until then, use your time wisely.
We're gonna straight up kill them.
Not very original, teach.
Weird. Have you guys seen that video? I think it's Sam Hyde. Not interested. You need to focus. None of these matter.
Well, as long as you're with us, at least things won't be boring. In fact, it may take a turn for the interesting. And with that, I'll take my leave to make my final preparation.
I know in the past I've said save your fishing for not quite. This will actually support up.
Well, I didn't expect it would be easy on you.
I know I said you shouldn't be fishing until except for very few specific events called a handful of fishes, but we're actually going to fish hopefully 4 times here. Well, it's going to be 5. We need to get as much professor experience as possible. That way we can have, if you do it right here, you can have a total of 3 activity points by our next Explore. And the next Explore is a big one because there's a lot of good events.
Stay vigilant and lead them well.
It's pretty messed up, dude.
I wish I could offer you my support, but Lady Rhea won't allow it. For now, I'll try to figure out what she wants from you. I don't mind you settling into your life here, but don't let your guard down. Ever.
Don't do it. Ever. Never, ever. There's gonna be another event, I believe. Pop, pop. Yep. Pop, pop, pop. Let's see, who is it? Annette? Yep, that's someone we want. So, 200 gold will be spent. Usually we'll do tea times there, but we don't have tea time unlocked yet, so yeah. And let's explore. Alright. Okay, so these little blue lights are some of the most important things that you can see. make sure you pick those up whenever possible, because that is just free money. It's free food. It's free items. It's just pick them up. Free support.
It's not normal to forget your own age, you know. It's kind of worrisome, actually.
By the time you're forgetting your own age, you're past the point of caring.
I guess if you put it that way, you've got a point.
I
Few
have a
quests.
request.
We just gotta grab a book for him, and then we get battalions, and the battalions that they issue, they pretty much issue them pretty properly. Pond snail, Dorothea.
Oh, Professor. Hello. I was just looking for my... Well, it's like a pale blue cloth. Have you seen it?
I'll tell Manuela.
Thank you so much.
You aren't actually gonna have to tell Manuela. Bernadette.
What is it? I'm not doing anything.
Hey, what's this cake doing out here?
Oh, come on. That's just cruel. Have we met? No. Sorry. You remind me of someone I know.
There's a lot of items over there in the fishing pond. That's pretty much just free experience. Before we do this gardening, pick up this right here. That one will be completely random, I believe. We're gonna use those. So I believe those drops are actually random. Because the last time I played through this, I got green flower seeds.
I'm afraid I'll just hold everyone else back.
That is totally wrong. You're better than like half the class, dude.
Or help plan the attack instead.
Heals are very important. So we actually got very lucky, and we got even better flowers than I did last time. And then on our next level, we'll do pale. So here's the thing: is we can do this, but we're gonna have a smaller yield than usual. Actually, let's do all of our quests beforehand, because I think we might get some other flower seeds from other people. This is just for the first mission. So I think your flower drops are going to be different than mine.
Hi there.
There's a little bit of randomness to it, but don't worry. Yeah, these drops are actually... it would seem that the item drop half of this is completely random. Oh, we need to... I realized we never did Flane's thing last time, and we don't really have to bother with this one. But ooh, this is gonna be hard because I usually do this by sound, and I can't actually hear my usual TV. So you want to get excellence as much as possible, but for this one, I don't think it actually matters. Well, we'll get a little bit more professor experience if we land an excellent.
Hey there.
But there is a trick to fishing, and I'll teach it to you in a little bit. We are going to take that, but not just yet.
Everyone's likes and dislikes, so I know what to cook. Who knows when it'll be my turn at kitchen duty? How about you, Professor? Do you like sweet or spicy food?
It's going to be sweet.
Same. I'll definitely remember that.
Petra?
Has much more warmth than Fodlan. Even spring here has coolness. And you, Professor? Which do you find is worst? Too hot or too cold weather?
You want to go with the cold.
I have agreements. In Bridget, I am able to be wearing much lighter clothes.
And then Lysithea has nothing to say, but we're still going to talk to her.
Vegetables in today's meal. The ratio of vegetables to sweets was completely skewed. Oh, hi, Professor. Were you just eavesdropping on me? Well, everyone knows a plate full of sweets is far preferred to a plate full of vegetables, regardless of age.
Some people don't like sweets. I'm definitely not that, but some people don't. Alois over here, even though we're gonna get him, we get him regardless. Why not as well? Get his support up.
I'm
Good.
just heading out for a mission. I'll be seeing you.
Good luck.
I don't need luck. This will be a piece of cake.
I'll be back before you know it.
I like Alois. He's a really cool guy. Also, he has hands down the best faculty training, at least when it comes for what we need. Yuratsi doesn't say anything.
Care to duel?
Well, when I mean that, it means he's gonna say the same thing either way. To the death?
I just wanted to spar.
You there? What? A moment, please.
I'm bored. Maybe I should go into town. But that would be such a hassle. Oh, hi, Professor. I'm rather busy right now, so do make it quick.
If you're busy,
Are
never
you
mind.
Sure? I thought you'd found me out for a moment there.
Please. You know, Professor, there are some things I'll just never understand. Like the other night, I went on a date with a dashing, handsome, strong young knight. Oh, I'm a bit weak just remembering him. Anyway, do you know what that no-good jerk said when we got back to my room? He said, "What a mess. I'm afraid to go in there." Can you believe it? You know who cares about keeping everything neat and tidy? Not me, that's who. Afraid to go in there. Some knight he is.
Never been afraid to go in anyone's room. Though I've seen some nasty rooms in my days.
Do you know about the Cardinals? They are the ones who run the church. Their identities are a closely guarded secret.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, I believe there is a decision in here. No, there's not. It's just Sylvain talking to girls.
What about... Professor, you're the one taking out the bandits? That's one way to start your career at the Academy. I didn't expect they'd order us to risk our lives here. Seems a bit extreme, doesn't it?
You're not gonna be risking your lives, dude, because I'm super okay at tactics. I'm not great.
Hello.
Like strategy games, not great at them. Ash has nothing to say.
My adoptive father, Lenato, that a commoner like me is here at the Academy. He is the very model of chivalry. Someday, I'm going to be just like him.
Just like him. We actually don't care with these two because we can't do anything, but
Beaten us in the mock battle. It's a shame you aren't leading our class.
I've heard your class is hunting thieves. That mission is very different from the one we were given.
he talks very slowly. But I guess, I mean, he's supposed to be kind of like the well, yeah, edgy. He's supposed to be like the edgier character, so I guess it makes sense.
It is better if you do not approach me. If you spend too much time around a man of Dusker, there will be rumors.
Your performance in the mock battle was exceptional, Professor. You have inspired me to follow your example and study even more diligently. Perhaps we could train together sometime. I would love to test myself against your sword skills again.
In another playthrough, Dimitri.
Those bandits really didn't think things through, did they? They had to have known the knights would be after them the moment they entered the monastery's turf. Fine by me, though. I'm raring for some real combat experience. Any
What the
chance to
hell is
grow
that
a
dog
good
doing?
thing. Is there anything else you want to ask me, Teach? About living at the monastery or combat? Anything like that?
The only thing we want is
Students
faculty
aren't
training.
the only ones who have something. If you want...
That reminds me.
There's one support up in here, and that's Raphael, though we'll just, as usual, we'll talk to everyone.
Professor, and now that you're all the way over here, Professor, care to join me in some training? After training, I love tending to the horses or burying myself in a good pile of books. There's truly nothing better.
I like long walks on the beach.
The Boar Prince and I were inseparable. I know him better than almost anyone else. So let me give you some advice. Beneath all that princely polish, he's an animal, nothing more. He's strong and skilled, sure, but don't place your trust in him as a human being. Take care he doesn't chew you up and spit you out.
Pretty ominous there, dude.
Hi there, Professor. You here to check in on my training? Oh, that reminds me. I found this small cloth. It's kind of weird. Not really sure what it is, but it works great for wiping up sweat.
The next assignment is to drive out bandits? Sounds like some training is in order. Tell me something, Professor. When it comes to a one-on-one battle, which is better, strength or skill?
100% skill, but we are gonna say strength.
I knew it! When it's all said and done, muscle always comes out on top.
Yep, Raphael. Yes, it does. And we have a couple more sections.
Professor?
Hey there. Let's see.
I don't think he has anything to say.
Person sure does remind me of somebody, but I can't figure out who. Oh, do you need me for something? Sorry, but I'm really busy right now.
I know Surreal could be a great unit, but I don't believe we're gonna spend. Oh God, I don't believe we're gonna spend the time on him. So I'm gonna skip his dialogue because it is really freaking long. If you want to hear it, then I recommend you do it on your own playthrough. But there's two answers we have to answer here. Say, I'm ready.
All right. There's Casper Bernadette. Finally, one day, I am more talented than anyone in my class.
Say, I look forward to that.
There's nothing I cannot achieve.
He gives a whole history lesson on all of the nobles in the Black Eagles. And I believe he even talks about Dorothea. I think he just gives like a lesson about everyone.
Right.
We have a mission here.
Favor to ask.
I just gotta retrieve some notes.
The cathedral is nice and quiet. It's so relaxing. Oh, Professor, did you come to pray to the goddess?
That's right.
Me too. Shall we pray together?
It is the duty of every Fodlan noble to demonstrate piety towards Seros. Have you also come to offer your prayers to the goddess, Professor?
Say, not exactly.
The truth is, I am not a particularly devoted believer either. But it would be unbecoming for a noble like me to neglect his prayers, wouldn't it?
Inside the cathedral, there is a chapel dedicated to the four saints. Do you know of them? Saint Indec, Saint Macula, Saint Keyhole, and...
Saint Sathleen! Who is your favorite, Professor?
Now that you are a member of the church, be sure to familiarize yourself with our teachings and traditions. I have something to ask of you.
So that leather shield and sword's really important. And we'll be able to work with these later. They are very useful, depending on what things you are specifically aiming for in your playthrough. And of course, if you are doing, if you're playing on normal difficulty, you can rack those things up pretty quickly. There's two conversations in the library, though only one matters, though we need, again, we need all the pickups in here. So there's a lot of cookbooks. I think there's like 3.
I'm so glad to be a student here, if only because I get to use this library. Reading books from all the regions of Fodlan, I feel almost like I'm visiting those places myself.
You can learn so much from books.
They're brimming with the knowledge and experience of our ancestors.
And then Lionheart has no support ups, but we're still going to talk to him.
Countless books, tracking down that single sought-after volume. It's absolute bliss. How do the poor fools who spend their days sharpening swords and polishing armor find any joy in life?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. Searching through a bunch of... Oh yeah, if you want to read up on more of the history, then you can read these little diamonds here. They have little insights into specifically like Seros and stuff. Dude, I find that absolutely frustrating when I'm trying to find a specific volume or a specific... or something very like specific teaching. It's like... It's frustrating to me at least. Excellent work.
Guiding the students in the mock battle. Taking command like that? Simply splendid. And bearing the unknown crest's power? Yes, I'm talking about you. Your talents are incredible, and
I'm
Ray's
talking
insight
about you.
as to your potential is doubly so.
I like Hahnemann. So you have to talk to him or else you can't trigger this. And then you examine it. Add some more strands.
You seem to have a mark of the exceptional about you. I only wish Seth would follow your example.
And then Geralt's quest is right here.
Thanks for your help.
So we get battalions off of that. And we get a little money, you know. We'll go over battalions in the next fight, which will be after this. Which will be in the next episode.
Thank you for paying me a visit. Is there anything troubling you? Or is there perhaps something I can help you with?
Ask about the teachings of Saros.
Believers live their lives by her sacred wisdom. Please use the library's vast resources to learn more. I can often be found here, so if there is ever anything you need, please do not hesitate to pay me a visit.
Okay, so now we have a couple options. First off, we need to finish those 2 quests. Ooh, and I've got some supports. I'm gonna go through the supports, not in the playthrough, because there are a lot of them. You know what, I'll go through professor's supports, but I'm not gonna go through every single student's support, and that is mostly because, if you're ever interested in a singular person and what they have to say, then you can usually find them, you can usually find all of their supports on YouTube, of course. Just like look up, like let's say I was interested in what Lysithea had to say to Raphael. You can just literally look up either Lysithea supports and you'll find a big compilation of all of them where they usually have things timestamped, or you can look up Lysithea and Raphael and you'll probably find their support.
Lands gather here at the academy. Word of advice, Professor. There are those who don't think kindly of such people.
Alright, so it's time to go turn things in. We'll go down there last, but we have 2 to turn in up here. So, now we have a couple options. We're gonna, after we turn in everything, we technically have a couple options of what we want to do.
My savior, thank you.
Singing over here will raise your faith, authority, and it will raise support between the people you pick. So of course don't pick these 3 because it'll actually, they don't like it, and I believe it can affect their motivation. But specifically Dorothea and Anita here, we can target with these, though I'm going to make an argument to that you should very rarely use the choir practice, because while it hits a lot of things and it seems really good, it hits it for a small amount. I don't know exactly how much support you gain from it, but I believe it's not as much as eating a meal. So there's no point in us really using it. So there's no real point in us going too hard on it. And the general thing that I myself has noticed, and a bunch of other people have noticed, is there's really only 2 super valuable things to spend your faculty time on. One, of course, is the meals. And if you're having a difficult time with a specific mission, then you can spend some time on the cooking together, because these will give statistical bonuses to all of your units in battle for that week. But you only use this if you are specifically targeting down one student in a short amount of time. So like, let's say we really wanted Mercedes, then we could target her here, we could target her here, and if we had the 3rd point in faculty, which we'll have next week, we can target her through the choir practice as well. So that would be the only time I would really use choir and use cooking. The only really things you should be spending your faculty time on are eating a meal with someone and training up your stats. And training up your stats matters because there's specifically 2 stats we need to at least get up to D+, I believe. D or D+. Which reminds me, we're going to swap around some inventory slots and we might buy some weapons for our guys. Though, let's store you for now. And this steel sword actually matters a lot. because our character is hitting harder than everyone else. He's going to have the leather shield, so he's taking just a little bit less damage, and he weighs a little more. And we're doing this so that he will spike hard damage on people with the steel sword, but he won't be able to double and kill people. So let's set this up. I don't believe we got anything besides root seeds, and we don't want those. So why don't we use... Dang, I'm not exactly excited about any of these seeds. I would like to use these two in tandem, but I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll just go with purple flower seeds. Can I cultivate? Oh, cool. I don't even need the cultivate, but why not just use the zero magic one? So that's cool. We'll have a pretty nice batch. We're gonna do some fishing here because we need to get enough experience. So what you can do is you can use 4 insect larvae. I think it'll get you there, but just to be safe, because I believe it's gonna be a bit harder for me to do all my fishing here, we're gonna use 5. So here's my tip for fishing. You see that fish symbol down there at the bottom? Hold up, I'm gonna... Oh my god. So we can hit 5 excellence here. But that when you check out the bottom left of your screen, there will be a fish symbol there. If it's blue, don't take it. So we're not going to take that one. We're going to give it 3 tries, and we're going to hopefully just get a red. So in this next one, we're going to take it regardless. It looks like we got a bigger fish, so there's at least that. So my tip is, watch that symbol down there in the bottom left, because a small blue one isn't worth a lot. A red one's worth significantly more and will usually result in a 4-star fish. And a gold one will result in very high value fishes. So you'll gain like... Oh, I hit that way too fast. I wasn't paying attention. But at least we also got a larger blue fish. And you can let the bait get bitten 3 times before you lose the bait. So you can always just run the first 2, and if you're not getting what you want, then on the 3rd one you just go for it regardless. We're going to use all of our... Oh, we got a gold. Nice, we got a perfect on it too. So of course you're not always going to get this. I'm lucky that I'm getting it this way, but we just got 500 gold from that, which is a nice pickup for an insect larva. We're doing pretty good here. So large blue, we're not going to go for it. Large blue, we're not going to go for it, and we're going to go for this 3rd one regardless. Hopefully we don't get a small blue. We got a large blue. And I think the reason why all these are large is because of the event that's going on today. And we're going to go for one more. Red. Red's good enough, so we're going to go for red. And we got perfects on all of them except the first one, so I got my timing down, which is nice. Bullhead, 100. Bullhead boosts speed, so cool. We got a lot of experience off that, and we're going to get a lot of experience off of this too. We're going to go for a double meal. So like I said, you should only be spending your time on faculties and meals. So let's talk about who we can hit. If we want motivation, we can hit these students, but I'm not too worried about that, so we're not going to hit these ones. We can hit Anita. We don't need Flain or Manuela. We can hit Anita, Mercedes, Sylvain, Ash, or Lionheart. And I'm not too interested in Ash or Lionheart. So it's really up to these 3, and I'm actually going to probably use these 2, so we'll go for these 2.
Yeah, you just get it, Professor.
This is my absolute favorite. How did you know, Professor?
So, boom. You get a nice increase in XP there. And then we'll do one more. So these actually cost food components. So if you look on the right there, you can only make these meals when you have the right food components on the side there. So let's see, who do we want to hit? We'll we'll use this one for now. So we could go for one person in a motivation, and the question is, who do I want to bring in as fast as possible? And none of these targets, there's really no student I want to bring in as fast as possible, so we can definitely go for a motivation here. I want Dorothea before, I believe, Chapter 11, because Dorothea I've chosen to be my dancer, though I know targets like Ignatz and Lorenz can be really good targets for dancer, but I'm going to go with Dorothea. So I can definitely pick her up. Bernadetta is a target I want to get early too, because I kind of plan on using her, and we have to get her writing skill up in an appropriate amount of time. So I think we're going to target Bernadetta, and then who's someone who needs skill training from our group? Out of these three, Hilda doesn't because she already has max motivation. Marianne is someone, Lysithia you don't have to worry about too much because she already her ability is to double her weapon experience, so I'm not too worried about her. So we'll go with Marianne because we need to get 4 teachings in lances regardless, so we can get her her ability out, because it's her her budding talent, which is Frozen Lance, which is really good for her.
Ooh, this is my favorite. You've got great taste. I like this dish. It was my father's favorite.
So we get increased bonds with them, better motivation, and we get professor points, blah blah blah. So that will be the end of this video. We've got enough professor experience now so that we will level up regardless, as long as we get our student question right. And I'll explain that in just a next episode. I'll explain it. But as long as we get our student question right, we will come out of this with a D in professor level. So we'll have 3 activity points next time. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Hope you're enjoying the walkthrough, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.